apologies for keeping you waiting. I spent the last hour hand-sewing buttonholes and simply needed a moment of respite. Right, thank you for your patience. Remind me again, your name is... Ah, yes, that's right, we spoke on the phone. You're here on recommendation from Master Growth, is that correct? Marvelous. Well, let me be the first to welcome you to Supple Row, the premier tailoring parlor that creates the finest of clothing for the most corpulent of bodies. I am Adam Pose, the owner of this shop and the trusted tailor of many a wealthy client. I cater to a broad range of widths and girths, male, female, and everything in between, but for each client my goal is the same, to create the finest of pieces that display not only their abundant wealth, but also accentuate their abundant bodies. And I must say, you've got quite the abundant body yourself, haven't you? What business are you in, if I may ask? Ah, is that so? Yes, I've heard of that company. I've had a few clients from there as well, although you are by far the biggest of them all. Oh, come now, there's no need to blush. Remember, in our circles being big is a sign of fortune and prosperity. For someone in your position, it's not only encouraged, but expected that you'd outweigh the others. Surely you've heard this from Master Growth before. I am a man of size myself, as you can see, so please, don't be embarrassed. I assure you, by the time I'm through with you, you'll be flaunting your fat at every function you attend. So that said, what type of function would I be designing for, Are you looking for something casual, something more in the day-wear sort of range, or something a bit more luxurious for some nighttime revelry? A casual option, then. Alright, well, even so, I will take the utmost care in ensuring that every roll and curve of your bountiful body is accentuated in the most beautiful manner. So, if you'll come with me to the dressing room, I'll get your measurements. Follow me. Alright, if you'll just remove your coat for me. Thank you, just set it on the chair there. Now then, just stand up as straight as you can, and if at any point you find you need to sit down, just let me know. I know that for some people of size, standing for long periods of time can be especially exhausting, and I wish to ensure that you are as comfortable as possible during this process. And so you are aware, I will need to measure some potentially intimate or sensitive places, but rest assured that nothing inappropriate will transpire between us. That is, unless you'd like it to. I know I certainly wouldn't mind. My apologies, I am quite the flirtatious type, as you'll see. But we've a schedule to keep, so let's proceed. I'll start with your torso and work my way down. Back straight for me, please. Thank you. Now then. And then, right here, that would be... right. And this over here would be... which would mean this is... yes, okay. Three, and right. Lift your arms, please, for the chest. Perfect, thank you. So we have... put my arms around you here. Ooh, very nice. Yes, it's a nice number. Keep your arms raised, we'll do your waist next. Alright, let's see. Ooh, bit of trouble getting around there. We have here... oh, would you look at that? Very nice number there. Very nice number indeed. Yes, I think it reflects your company's prosperity quite well. Oh, no. It's not a problem at all that it's that big. I have been doing this for a very long time, my dear, and I have catered to nearly every shape and size that you could imagine. That's right, I've clothed pot bellies and barrel guts, broad chests and bulging bosoms, curvaceous hips and plump bottoms. You've nothing to fear, I promise you that. Oh no, you're not the biggest I've seen, not by a long shot. I mean you no disrespect, of course, but like I've said, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've come across some very sizable persons in that time. Though I will say, your body is definitely one of the nicest I've seen. I can only imagine how nice it will look when clothed in my garments. And yet something tells me you won't be keeping them on for very long, what with how good you look and all. Aha, there's that blush again. You know, I think I was wrong earlier. You should blush more often. You look so adorable with reddened cheeks, like a plump, juicy cherry just begging to be bitten. I certainly wouldn't mind taking a bite out of you myself. I'm sorry, I hope I haven't offended you. Sometimes I've a bit of a difficult time keeping my flirtations in check, especially when I have such a lovely client standing right before me. And while we're on the subject, I need to measure your lower half now, starting with your hip, which also includes your bottom. Just stay still for me, my dear. I'll be done in a moment. Stretch this around. Oh, it's very nice. It's round. Sorry. You just have a very nice measurement, once again. I always get a bit excited when I see such nice numbers. To me, there's no better proof of wealth of fortune than a wealth of fat. The biggest I've seen. Oh, that would have to be Sir Mathers, no contest. Have you heard of him? Suppose that's to be expected. Though you've taken to it quite well, Master Growth did mention that you're rather new to your wealth. So allow me to explain. Sir Mathers was the head of an empire of chocolatiers, and as one would expect from someone in his position, he was a gourmand like no other. He would go on global excursions sampling various sweet treats from various nations, and he would always throw the most lavish of galas with tables upon tables of the most decadent confectionery you could imagine. So, naturally, being a man in the business of sweets, Sir Mathers was very, very, very fat, to the point where his body was nothing short of planetary. They had trouble finding scales that could weigh him, but he had to be at least 600 pounds, though he probably weighed more. Every time he came in for a fitting, he was always bigger than I'd last seen him, and by quite a large margin, to the point where I'd started making his samples with over a foot of extra fabric added to ensure they would actually fit him. And clothing a man as big as he was no simple task, mind you. A shirt alone would take over 6 yards of fabric, and being that he constantly needed to increase his size, I tore through dozens upon dozens of bolts of material just for him. He was a man of excess in every sense of the word, and that extended to his confidence and style. No man alive could compare to him, though there were many who tried, and even after his death, his memory continues to inspire people of his size to this day. Yes, he was a remarkable figure, both literally and metaphorically. If only you could have seen him in person. Many portraits of Sir Mathers do exist, being that he was so famous and all, and I believe Master Growth has a few of them himself, but none of them quite do him justice, in my opinion. But enough about him. Let's get back to you. I've gotten all of your measurements taken, and I've got a good idea of where I should start. I should have some preliminary sketches and line drawings done for you within the next few days, and then within a week or so I should have the block drafted and mocked up in muslin for a fitting. I'll give you a call when it's done, and then just come in as soon as possible so we can continue the process. How's that sound? Splendid. It was a pleasure meeting you, and it was an absolute delight taking your measurements today. I can only imagine how pleasurable it will be when I'm running my hands all over your corpulent form. To fit the bodice, of course. But please do continue blushing. Cherries are my favorite fruit, you know. So rich and plump and juicy, and so very, very sweet. I wonder if your lips would taste the same. I may have to work overtime to get your drafts done earlier. I can hardly wait for our next session together. And by the look on your face, it seems the feeling's mutual. But for now, I'll walk you out, let you go about your day. So follow me, and please, don't be afraid to appreciate my measurements while we walk. I think you'll find them rather impressive.